right, continuing on with chapter 3, here's 6.3. This one requires, making sure you understand the difference between scale and scale factor. So remember, scale factor is simply, you use the scale to find the fraction in its simplest form, okay? When you have the scale, it always looks like something like this. For every 1 inch on the map, it equals 10 miles, okay? And it's written in that format. So make sure you have the difference between scale and scale factor. Okay, so the first part, it has to do with finding the missing dimensions. So it's pretty easy. It gives you the scale. So for questions 1 through 11, it gives you the scale already. So you're gonna use the same scale, which happens to be for every 5 centimeters, that equals 2 kilometers, okay? So, you should be able to figure this out easily, but let's go through the process of how you can show your work. So question number 1, you're setting it up to, remember, 2 proportions, 2 ratios that make up a proportion, centimeters over kilometers, centimeters over kilometers. The first ratio is always the scale that's given, 5/2. The second ratio is to do with the story of what you have. You happen to have 10 centimeters. Because you set your words up first already, it's easy to know where the 10 goes. And then you're just going to cross, multiply, then divide. So 10 times 2 is 20, divided by 5 is going to give me 4. So for every 10 centimeters in my, whatever I have my map, on my map, it's actually 4 kilometers, okay? And they're all going to be set up like that, all 1 through 11. Starts off with this ratio, and then you set up the second one. Just make sure you put words down. And then we get to question number 13. And it says to use the scale, so it's the same scale, 5 centimeters equals 2 kilometers. Use this scale and find the scale factor. Remember, your scale factor is taking the scale and making a fraction. 5 centimeters over 2 kilometers. Well, you can't have this because you can't make a fraction. It has to be in the same converted units, okay? So in order for us to do that, we need to know something about kilometers and centimeters. So remember, you have 1,000 meters. So let's look at this. A kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters. Okay, that's important to know. What's also important to know is that 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. So you have to see that I have to first go from kilometers to meters. So see, 2 times 1,000. So then I'll have 2,000 meters, but every 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I'm going to have to multiply it one more time by 100. So I'm going to let you try and do that one. Make sure to simplify it in the end, okay? And then we move on to the next one. Because I'm going to probably ask you to do more than just the odds this time, I would probably going to say do all of 6.3 in order for you to benefit from learning how to do the different things. So 14 is again scale factor. So you need to write a fraction, same way that we did this, but this time you're doing 15 inches to 1 yard. So 15 inches over 1 yard. You have to convert, okay? Making sure that you remember that there are 3 inches equals 1 yard. So convert and then simplify. And then you have 15 and 16 that you need to attempt to do. This one's going to be a little more challenging, so definitely do your best on it. Look at those answers And if you have questions, make sure you let me know.